Let me tell you about one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. A moment where I reacted so confidently, and yet I was completely wrong. I bulldozed everyone around me because I was sure I was right, but I wasn't, and I paid for it. Since then, I've learned 3 things that completely changed how I respond in tense situations, and they've saved me from looking foolish more times than I can count. The first one is simple. I tell myself I may be wrong. And once I started to remember that, everything got easier. And I didn't just make up that idea. I heard a quote once by Mark Twain that hit me in the gut. It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for show that just ain't so. That line stung because I've lived it. And then I saw a scene in a detective show where the boss said he wished every detective would tattoo one sentence on their hand. I may be wrong. Both lines stuck with me, probably because of my history of charging ahead passionately and being completely embarrassingly wrong. Remembering we may be wrong will prevent what I call the embarrassed wimp and the embarrassed hothead moments, and I'm going to tell you about each. Years ago, I was helping a friend with her website, and I didn't realize that her domain was hosted with one company and her hosting service was done with another. So there I was, confidently grilling the domain company for hosting information they absolutely did not have, hours of emails, hours of back and forth, and finally someone who knew more than me gets involved and informs me, "You're asking the wrong company." I felt the heat rise in my body, and I just started to get everyone distracted with me needing to be somewhere, and I just quietly escaped. And that was the moment I became the embarrassed wimp, wasting everybody's time because I didn't stop long enough to question myself. Then there's the opposite version, the embarrassed hothead. I was in college having a nice lunch in Union Square, and I thought this woman was being rude to me in the restroom line. She wasn't. I misheard her, snapped at her, went inside, realized what had happened, and I thought, what did I just do? That was the hothead, a very embarrassed one, because I reacted to something that never even happened. Don't worry, I did go and apologize to her. Those were the moments that taught me you can't trust your emotions in those first 5 seconds. You've got to pause, and you have to question your certainty. So here's the second thing that I learned, the power of the pause. Just giving something a few seconds or a few minutes if you can, or a few hours if you can. Why? Because the pause gives you time for 5 things. Just in case you're wrong. 2, to gather more information. 3, to allow more information to surface. 4, to calm down and take the emotion out of it. And 5, to stop yourself from making a mess you're going to have to clean up later. When I don't pause, I react. When I pause, I respond. My dad shared a proverb with me that summed it up perfectly. A gentle answer will calm a person's anger, but an unkind answer will cause more anger. Wise people use knowledge when they speak, but fools pour out foolishness. This doesn't mean you have to be quiet or sweet or disingenuous, just calm and matter of fact. It's not about allowing others to be a-holes to you, it's about protecting your own peace, because how we behave impacts our peace. And more importantly, because you might be wrong. And at least for me, the more of an a-hole I am, the harder it is to apologize in those times when I realize I was wrong, and the worse I feel, and the more tempted I am to defend my errors just to protect my fragile ego instead of acting in my values of truth and integrity. Let me tell you a few quick stories where the pause saved me. Like the time I got an email that made me want to quit a project immediately. I'm about to call people and declare the ending of the relationship. Instead, I paused, called the source, and found out the information I'd gotten was wrong. Or the time a friend texted me something that she was going to do that was the opposite of what I asked her to do, and it made me feel totally out of control. Old me would have spiraled. Paused me, I ran errands to take a break from the emotions, calmed down, and when I checked my phone again, turns out she had misread my text and had already corrected herself. Another time I missed an email from someone. I purchased something from an online store and the order was late and I hadn't received any communication about it, or so I thought. So I'm about to call the store and tell them, what kind of operation are you running? I'm never doing business with you again. Are you trying to steal from me? Give me my money back. But in the pause, I found the email I'd missed and it explained everything and it offered me a free gift. Can you imagine if I'd made that call? And now the funniest story and the most dangerous one. I'm at the grocery store and a woman literally starts pulling my cart. I'm about to freak out at her, like, what are you doing, lady? But I am so grateful that I took that beat, because she looks up and goes, oh, I thought you were my son. And I'm like, one, do I look like your son? And two, he's like young, right? So thank you. I thought I had to, pull my face back now in order to look young. We end up laughing together instead of getting into an altercation. So here's what I've learned. When I respond in anger, I make things worse. When I respond in absolute certainty, I become blind. When I respond too fast, I create a bad situation where there never was one to begin with. But when I remember I may be wrong, the power of the pause, and the power of a level-headed response, I keep control of the situation. I keep control of my emotions, behavior, ego, and my peace. I also protect others from being hurt by my error or my anger, and I become a version of myself that I'm proud of. If you've ever had a moment where you were sure you were right and then realized you weren't, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Until next time, remember the pause. Your future self will thank you.